I really know that these guys can kind of do this, so let's do it. Let's get there. As we are going to start off in the top right-hand side of the map with our blue Protoss player. This is none other than the wonderful MaxPax. Taking on in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from the Gaming Gladiators. This is SHIN. And we get into game number 1 of this best of 5 ZVP series. Now, I'm expecting this one, like I said, I actually do really think this is going to be fun. I don't just say this, I really believe it. I think we are going to have an absolute blast of a time here. And I'm really hoping that, yeah, we can see some games go back and forth. I think that's my biggest wish right now, is that we see some back and forth games rather than just like, because sometimes these two can have the 2-0s or the 3-0s. They can sometimes have that kind of aggressive attack or two, which just ends it. I want to see the SHIN MaxPax games which do go longer, which do end up going a little bit deeper. You know, I want to see those things happen. And again, I'm so completely in belief that they can happen, that these guys can play like that. So I'm a believer. Let's see if these guys are going to give it to us today. Oh, let's see, I guess. Maybe I'm just asking for too much. Maybe I'm too hopeful. I'm out here wanting every single one of these best of 5s to be amazing. Typically, it doesn't always go like that. As our Overlord of SHIN heads to the upper right-hand side. In fact, a couple of Overlords are heading up to the upper right-hand side initially here as we get that underway. And we get some scouting on the go here on ley lines for our opening map. A map which for PvZ has been pretty entertaining. You end up being forced somewhat to take kind of centralized bases, which creates very fun opportunity to try and attack up and into this high ground area versus someone that can kind of somewhat hold the center from there. Actually does create pretty entertaining Protoss versus Zerg matchups, I would say. So this map's definitely been it's definitely been in my good books, to say the least. This map has 100% been one of those ones that's been pointed out as yep, this map's pretty darn good. We like it. We think it's pretty neat, and we continue to hope to see more from it. As it's now in the map pool for however long it may be in the map pool for, hopefully for a long time. But hopefully not for so long that, because, you know, hopefully not because the map pool just doesn't change forever, but, you know, if it does change, I would not mind seeing ley lines as a map that kind of sticks. I know it's maybe early days to say that, but I don't know, this map just has that good kind of, to me it's a very interesting, fairly standard / larger map, where it isn't actually that large kind of base to base, or at any point in the game it never really feels large. But there are a lot of bases on it, and it just forces a lot of gameplay, it forces a lot of interaction. I think those sort of things are extremely good and very healthy for good StarCraft 2 games, to be fair, so yeah. We've got our link speed coming up, the Queen on the way, hatchery and drones all on the way through, and the Queen again sitting at the front there, the Adept moving around, a couple of Lings nearby as well. The Adept will actually step forward and chase those Zerglings back just a moment or so. Actually going to threaten the Creep Tumor for a moment as well, but will not get there. Now the Adept escapes back over to that right-hand side. So Adept getting out of there for the moment. Again, our Link speed coming through. The Overlord and a couple of drones coming up as we speak. Add a hatchery on into that as well. And this Oracle will come moving down toward the bottom left-hand side. Our first tech of the game. You can see a second Oracle on the way as well. So double Oracle play from MaxPax. Double Oracle seems to be becoming kind of the standard. We've seen a lot of double Oracle. 3 Oracles don't feel as necessary with the energy overcharge, given the Oracles a bit more access to energy overall. You know, a 3rd Oracle is still nice because you can have 2 at harassing and 1 at home, but a lot of the time a 3rd Oracle was kind of about being able to activate onto Lings while still having the energy to harass as well. Now with energy overcharge, you're way less limited in terms of how much energy you're working with. 2 Oracles can get the job done, and that means you can cut on a little bit of gas off, the total gas counter needed before transitioning into the next stage of the game, essentially. Oracle activating and a few Lings will begin to go down. So the Oracle and the Stalker there doing a good job of pushing some Zerglings back and away. So just going to chase that away for the moment. Honestly, pretty good cleanup. Again, exactly what you want to see with these Oracles. Not afraid to activate, utilize the energy, which they obviously have in these scenarios. Does a great job of this so far. As the Baneling Nest starts up from SHIN, we begin to see a little bit of the plan from him. A Baneling Nest While a couple of gates, the forge and the assimilator all coming online too. This Zergling will make its way around the top and try to figure out what its plan may be. 5 Lings dead, make it 6, and that's going to be a couple of drones as well. It's the kills so far from MaxPax as a Depth Stalker going to poke forward. There's one Oracle still looking around too. We'll join up with these few units and try and apply some pressure. There's actually quite a few Lings here. That's exactly where the Oracle can be very effective. Because all Oracle has to do is activate, and Lings just start to laser down. You can see this was a fair few Lings, and it would have been enough to maybe fend off these Stalkers, but it definitely was not enough with the Oracle killing Lings off so frequently up in the sky, so not worth committing through to that one. Stalkers will get there, knocking down that Overlord. Now Adept and Stalkers together. Continue to press around the bottom. A little Revelation coming through as well. Gonna get rid of some Crypt Tumors here as we step up to the high ground. Then we got that Stasis Ward in position. We just see the Lings moving around up on the top. A couple of Crypt Tumors still being cleaned out as well, so all of that falling. As the Stalkers and the Oracle still hanging around, those Lings are going to get in and actually do pretty darn well for themselves. Picking up a whole bunch of probes. 7 probes go down. That is very reasonable. It's actually very good damage done. I think we'll be pretty happy about that so far. I mean, running in and getting 7 probes early. Now going to catch ourselves a Stalker. This Stasis Ward was pretty neat. It caught a lot of Lings, but there's not really any follow-up to that. There's not really any kind of like, oh look, yes, hurrah! No, there's none of that at all, in fact, so not exactly ideal. As our Lings still continue to try and fight a Stalker in the corner. Will not actually be able to get that. It survives. Blinking away after tanking a few shots of damage initially. Lings run to the 3rd base where they hit the simulator. No further run-by potential, it seems. SHIN has seemingly gotten what he can out of those run-bys for now. MaxPax not going to let too much else happen for the moment. Do you have drones? Hydra Den obviously pumping out too. SHIN actually doesn't have a huge drone count, only 61 workers in the game. You would almost think it was actually SHIN that was the one that had taken some worker damage in this game, not the one that had dealt it. He is definitely hemorrhaged in the worker count area. It's not. It wasn't really a thing done by his opponent, right? Like MaxPax only killed 2 drones this game. This was SHIN just not droning up himself very heavily as MaxPax takes the chance. Gets a Queen. Lings are now going to chase, looking for the wraparound on those Stalkers. Stasis Ward goes off on just 2 or 3 of them, so that's very manageable. And these Stalkers got to start blinking away. Oracle's overhead, so again, Ling count is going down fairly quickly if they are stopping to try and fight. Lings get chased away back to the left side, +2 attack. Storm and Charge coming online as well. We still see our units gathering on the top. Few Lings hiding over to the edges. +1 missiles and bailing speed, as mentioned before, will continue to come online here currently. Another nice set of Stasis Wards, which traps a couple of a few Lings. The Stalker there getting trapped as well, and amongst the Lings, as MaxPax just continues to poke around to try and find a way to do some damage and to get something done. So really trying to find something here, trying to get off to a reasonable start. Anyway, 8.5 minutes in, he is transitioning through to his Storm and his +2, so I'm saying off to a reasonable start. I mean, we're kind of just moving into the mid-game now, right? So the question is, can we kind of keep this up into the mid-game? Is this something which is viable to kind of keep on the go, or not? A couple more Oracles just going to join up overhead of those Stalkers, and again, the Ling Hydra moving about as well. Again, a hatchery over halfway done. A lot of Zerglings now going to morph into Banes on the right-hand side. Stasis Ward will set up. Again, that 4th Nexus in the middle of the map, something you love to have here. As the Protoss, as the Oracles just went on a 1 to 2 far, they just fly straight over ahead of the Hydras. That ain't gonna do it for you. That ain't a positive. That is not a positive at all, in fact. That's pretty bad. I mean, that is gifting away units that just did... You really could have done with just having. Like, at the end of the day, it's plain and simple. That is how it is. Mothership on the way up, by the way. The Stargate also producing in. The Ling's gonna get a wrap around on those Zealots. So they are going to go down pretty quickly too. We're going to take another turn in. Those Zealots will go down. Hydras and Banes still looking to get through as the Stalkers blink up. Banelings will take damage. Actually going to rotate elsewhere here. for the next moment or so, as now the couple of Banes trying to get on the other side. Not going to be too successful. MaxPax on his way to a mothership to help him in the defense here, as that first storm is nice, but there's no follow-up storm, which means these Banes are going to get to connect anyway. So that first storm may as well have done nothing in the end. Fallon goes down, cancels the Stalker warp in. 11 probes go down, but more notably, the Nexus goes down. So we actually lose the base here on the high ground. MaxPax is going to get a base taken off of him. That is a little bit of a shame, right? So that base goes down now, plus 3 air weapons coming up. A couple more High Templar coming through. Mothership and the Archon coming online as well. The rest of this army from SHIN splitting up in a couple different directions. Some to the top, some to the bottom right. In we go as another storm drops through, but SHIN is obviously very happy to keep on pushing here. He wants to keep the pressure going. He wants to make something happen as he drops one gateway down immediately. The Stalker's blinking across, aiming for the Ling Bane Hydra army. Seeing if there's anything that can be found there. Answer so far is no, not really. The Banes are going to now run into this forward base, but I think MaxPax is on top of this. So SHIN, he'll make do. He hits some sec defense down. Sometimes that's all you're going to be able to get out of these scenarios, right? And in this case, it's very much so all he's able to get out of it. So for now, that will be that. As the Ling Bane Hydra continues back down to the bottom, retreating away. As we also have our +1 air weapons, +3 ground weapons. I mean, again, upgrades still coming through from MaxPax. Just having to rebuild one of his Nexus initially was not exactly ideal. He's now going to start going into carriers as well. So MaxPax making that next step in the tech tree, moving in toward the carriers and the later game Stargate tech in general. Stalkers will move over to the left, now moving over to the right. Just going back over all the way. Another storm comes in, a few Lings are going to get caught. Game's going to crash through. A couple of Zealots will go down as well. Again, Hydra's still coming over. Stalkers will push over. Crashing on this left side, a few of those cannons going to get knocked down as well. Probe still gathering up. Lings up to the top, going to get rid of a Nexus. Archon going to flare away too. A few of those Banes maybe wanting to try and jump on top of this. Those Lings getting wrapped around also there. Seeing the Ling Bane Overseer continues to gather and together. A couple of those probes going down. SHIN definitely still looking to be the aggressor. I mean, he's had an aggressive stance in his game all game long. Now, MaxPax comes over the left-hand side. We'll be seeing the Extractor and the Viper coming about. Stalkers blink up the other way again. Ling's going to get chased down. So, Crypt Tumor's going down. Eleven drones dropping as MaxPax is on the bottom side with these Archons as well, so they also have some impacts. These Zealots come back through. Ling's going to wrap around next on the far right side. He's going to take some even more shots. Now going to jump back onto the pylons. So our pylons will take some hits. The rest of this still gathering in the middle. SHIN's is going to say GG as MaxPax has apparently just counterattacked and done so much all at once. What a falling apart of SHIN. I mean, SHIN was... So this was a weird game in a way, because SHIN was the player throwing stuff at MaxPax all of the time, right? Like, at this moment right here, you look and you're like, okay, this doesn't look so bad for SHIN. So you're like, well, is he in trouble? It's this army that's the problem. The lurkers are not ready. And there's a couple carriers in there as well. And the thing is, as he starts to get ready to fight this on the left-hand side, then this army shows up. So you're going to lose a base. You're in trouble there. And then with this force, it's just about those lurkers. But we can kind of hit a lot of harassment without seeing the lurkers. And SHIN's just dying in this moment. Like, Lings are going down. Reinforcements over here went down. He just starts losing units. And he has a ton of minerals, a little bit of gas. And he has a ton of lava as well, which is why I'm kind of surprised when he leaves the game as he does. But clearly he just does not think he can fight that army, which I'm also kind of surprised about because he does have lurkers. It's just getting them into the right fight. Could argue he doesn't have the Spire yet, and so he needs Corruptors, and he doesn't have enough gas, and losing the base here loses the gas. I'm surprised to see the GG, like, at this moment right now, because I see GG, and I'm like, well, yes, like, the supply's not good, but you could have probably been building up a little bit more. Very, very, very interesting kind of... I felt as though Shin was playing such an aggressive game, too. I mean, over here, those lanes are going to get pushed back, but you still got MaxPax only on 4 bases, so it's not great because you're only on 4 bases trying to get 5 here, but obviously the army is kind of denying you mining it. There's reasons, don't get me wrong. I think you look at this and you're like, yeah, okay, I understand why that's like why that's been a GG, but I almost thought he would have a bit more fight in him just because we never really saw a rebuild with that money. GG's. All right, there you go. And it is going to be game 1. In the bottom left-hand side, taking the 1-0 lead is our blue Protoss player, MaxPax. While in the top right, our red Zerg is Shin. Game number 2. I mean, where did Shin go wrong? I mean, he did play kind of an aggressive Ling Bane style, and I guess MaxPax started to get the tech up with those carriers coming online as well. So I do sort of think that, kind of looking back a little bit on it, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I can understand that game. You know, that game was kind of like you were doing some damage, you got rid of the base of MaxPax, and then he maybe didn't capitalize, and MaxPax continued to tech up during it. Overlord Shin heading down to the bottom left side. Hatchgas and Pool coming up from Shin. The Gateway coming up from MaxPax. Probe on the way as well. We'll just follow this Overlord for a moment as we take a second to settle down in the WardiTV Christmas Day Games 2024. Our third matchup of the day. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're all having a fantastic day as well. I hope it is whatever you wish it to be. And yeah, we really do appreciate you guys tuning in for some StarCraft 2 with us. We're super happy to be able to provide you guys what has been so far some very fun games. Hopefully you guys agree with that as well. And yeah, just super happy to have you guys here. If you are enjoying, obviously do consider dropping a follow on the Twitch channel, liking the YouTube stream as well. I'm going to be very excited to see, very interested to see what the YouTube viewership turns out to be on a Christmas Day stream, because obviously the YouTube streaming thing in general is pretty new to us. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how well this does on YouTube, because this is actually one of our biggest hits of the year on Twitch. I wonder if that carries over to YouTube. You guys probably like sitting there right now, well, yeah, we can see the viewership's great, or, oh god, what do you think is going to be good and it's actually terrible? But, yeah, I'm interested to see that when it gets to that point. Very exciting. Pulls back, a couple of adepts join together, as we do have our Stargate beginning in the main base, so we get that started up. A few Lings are going to come across as well down the bottom side. Queen on the way. Overlord still moving through, and the adept continues to go toward the upper right-hand side, so we'll continue to the top for the moment. As the Adeptus Shades coming through. Couple of depth shots being taken. We actually lose 3 probes on the other side as I'm busy checking out that. Was that just a couple of Lings getting in for 3 probes? Man, I'm following this adept around, but the adept was very unexciting compared to 3 probes. So actually Shin gets rid of some workers early, and he's going to take a slight edge at the very start of Frostline. So Shin off to a very happy start as this probe comes back over through the bottom. Oracle coming up, and the Nexus coming about. Gonna be seeing the Warp Gate coming in as well. There's another Gateway just gonna drop down to finish the wall off here. And again, our Queen's producing through from Shin. Like I said, I'll be very happy to have gotten in for a couple of probes super early on. As MaxPax just takes his third base, we'll see what the plan becomes for him. as we continue forward. Couple of Triple Queens, handful of drones all coming out, the Spore Crawler building from SHIN as well, so we continue to get that all online. 7 drones coming by. The Zero Chamber built to try and protect a drone from an Oracle as SHIN just tries to preserve workers as best as possible. Down a game in this series. As a couple of Zerglings will make their way up to the upper right side as well. Again, just going to be seeing a few extra gates coming online. The Twilight Council coming through. Couple activates, couple drones coming over. Queen going to fire. That's going to be another couple drones going down as well. So actually not bad. Oracle's finally finding some damage, and we're still before the 5-minute marker, so getting those worker kill counts up. MaxPax able to put some work in here so far. Extra gates coming through as he prepares with the Blink. We'll get the Forge as well, though, so we'll have Forge and Blink play coming through. I mean, all very standard stuff realistically on the side of MaxPax. Nothing really too outrageous there. Once again, the Roach Roaring Extractor gonna show us where SHIN's starting to go to. The Roach Run especially, get those roaches ready. It's a big deal as our Oracle flies into the main base, drops a little Revelation down, gonna turn back away and come back to the middle of the map, heading down to the bottom left as we go. Got the Oracle down on the bottom side here. We still have that Blink and the +1 attack coming through. Additional probes are coming online. Pylon in production. Oracle continues to skate around over to the far bottom right side. A couple Stalkers are going to be there. They're going to turn the Zerglings away as well. These Lings get turned the other direction also. Still got our lab building up from SHIN. Drones and Roaches in production. And add a couple gateways onto the rest of this too. So gateways coming up, battery and the pylon coming into play. Oracles will step forward with these Stalkers. A couple creep teamers go down pretty much immediately, so a few creep teamers being dropped right off the bat. Stasis Ward will come down again, and just going to be seeing our Stalkers and the Oracle still pressing up a couple of those Lings and Roaches and Queens. I don't want to come chasing through too. Creep teamers will continue to drop off. +1 missiles, Roach speed coming online, the extra gates and +1 attack coming through as well. Our Stalkers continue to blink backward here as a lot of those Lings will continue to drop. Now, Lings on the other side have not really done much. They're going to start to return. They would rather come back home and potentially protect against these Stalkers than stay out on the map and not necessarily get much done. Roach Queen stepping up to, as again, the Roaches, Hydras, +1 missiles, Screw Spines, Roach speed. All the good stuff is coming in as we speak right now. Stalkers are going to get there and grab the Queen. Another creep teamer gets picked off. Lings are still going to come and chase him. On the bottom side, those Lings are going to move through the center also. Again, +1 attack about to finish. Charge is going to be coming online as well. And again, the Hydras producing from SHIN, so we get all of those up and into play. The Zerglings are going to get jumped on as well by the Stalkers. The Stalkers are able to pick away through a lot of those Zerglings. They will take quite a bit of damage. The MaxPax is 124 supply here to SHIN's 131. Has an upgrade already in tow. And SHIN is going to scrap together some Hydras with these Roaches and see if that's enough to hold off what is pretty much a purely Stalker army. MaxPax has not done a lot of kind of improving the army quality here. Has not really had to just yet, so that makes sense as the Hydras and the Roaches together will help to push those Stalkers the other direction. So far, so good. The Stalkers would like to come up here one more time. A couple of Stasis Wards still in position. The Stalkers are going to come whacking away on the Lings. The Roaches and the Hydras still coming forward. Stalkers continue to take some hits. At the moment, Stasis Wards popping and a few of those units getting caught. Hydras continue to produce, and again, our +2 attack and our charge upgrades coming online also as our Stalkers will still step through. The Oracles here to throw some Stasis Wards down as well. And move back toward the top as blink upwards. A couple of those Lings are going to get jumped on. Roaches and the Hydras and the Ravagers will continue to go after those Stalkers as well, so we just push those back the other direction. Zealot's going to go over to the far right-hand sides. They are going to continue to chase to try and get some damage done, but there's a couple units showing up defensively. Probably not enough to really play cleanup just yet, though, so As these Zealots, they do get cleaned up in the end, so MaxPax will not do too much there. And SHIN is pushing MaxPax away. And my concern for MaxPax, I guess, is that this is still just Zealot Stalker, right? This is not going anywhere until just now a Temple Archive start. I think he's added one in Waterland, but yeah, his current army composition is far from the best it can be, right? And so MaxPax's force right now is maybe not quite the everything that he wants it to be. As our Ling Hydra Roach Ravager going to step up and begin to dive into this position. Pylon's going to start going down. Cannons are going to be in some trouble as well. So this army of SHIN showing up and just getting some of the initial static defenses. More of his army will reinforce from the right-hand side of the map there. I'm just going to get chased away. The Stalkers pushing those Hydras back. The rest of this army from SHIN looking to get set up as we're going to run up this ramp. Zealots will begin to go down. Roach Hydra Ravager pushing forwards as the force fields get blasted. There's the pylon and the cannon continue to come through. The couple of Zealots will go down as well. And continue to chase all the way through this at the moment as Stalkers will turn back around onto the rest of this army. Stasis Ward popping on a few of those Zerglings. 9 probes going down, and that number is rising quickly as SHIN, with a very successful attack here, is doing a lot. And even as MaxPax tries to push back towards him, he's just like, no, I've got some Hydras, man. Do you know how much DPS these things do? He's like, watch, look, they're great. And MaxPax is like, God damn it, I know it. I'm having to blink back every second right now. Having to try and blink the hell away. There's another Stasis Ward attempt coming through right there. So we see the Hydra still trading. Stalker still taking big chunks of damage. They're going to turn back around onto the gateway, which will take even more damage for a few moments. So a little bit more being done on that one. Again, Roach Link production continues through. +3 attack, Nexus, and the Cyber Core coming online as well. Zealot's going to chase the Hydra down. Now the Ling Hydra going to come up the left-hand side. Couple Corrosive Vials getting set to land as well as a few of our Stalkers will begin to take damage too. The Stalkers will continue to blink back. +3 attack, Cyber Core. Okay, all of this good stuff continue to come in as our Hydras will get on top of this Nexus once more. Here come the probes, here come the Zealots. As they start diving forward, the Oracles are going to be in some trouble as well. One Oracle goes down. I mean, the Stalkers are going to be right in the front. I mean, MaxPax is losing a lot, but he will clean up. At least it seems like he will. Reinforcing Lings might have had something to say about it. SHIN will back away, and I think smartly so. His damage has been done. 21 probes have died. The bottom side base gone. You know, you are left on a third base that doesn't have workers on it currently, so MaxPax is going to come across the map and basically see, can I kill you? Or can I do some serious damage myself to equalize what you've just achieved? Because if I don't do anything right here, I'm probably going to end up in some trouble. So the Zealot trying to lead the charge forward. The Ling Roach Hydra going to come through and chase those Stalkers down a little bit as well. A couple of those Stalkers beginning to drop. Continue to turn into this. The Archon goes down. The Stalker's still getting clipped away at. The Queen's going to be right there as well. Now having the rest of this army coming back over. Let's just have Archon and the Stalker still trying to step up. Roach Hydra Queen going to be there to push the other units away. Some Lings trying to get active on the left-hand side. Zealots with the wraparound. High Templars morphing into Archons. Stalkers and an Archon from MaxPax as well. Gathering up in the center. Hydras will be there. Stalkers get turned the other direction. Infestors coming about. Roach Hydra coming about. And just going to see those Hydras able to be there and able to push back a few of those Stalkers already. The rest of the Zealot Archon continues to gather up together. Get a couple of those Zealots walking up to the front, and MaxPax looking to try and surround this force to make something happen. He does have +3 attacks. His army is very effective. One Infestor goes down. We blink away from the second, from the Fungal from the other, and so both the Infestors are pretty lackluster in what they can achieve. It's just a question of, do we have enough units to fight this Hydra force? I actually do not think we do. I think those Hydras are looking good. There is a Fungal that will land on some Stalkers, so no blinks available on those guys, and MaxPax is going to say, yeah, you're right, this is GG. I do not have a way to keep on fighting against you. GG called, and SHIN is going to tie this up 1-1 with MaxPax, and we are going to see what actually is exactly kind of the series that I want to see on a map that is obviously as well just a little bit on the large side and also a little bit newer, as we've new but old. It's new old. Come back from the previous map pools a long time ago, and here now as one of our newest maps in the map pool. And I say newest just because obviously all the maps are new, but we had the PTR for over a month where we had the 6 maps from the PTR. So they feel a little bit more kind of worn into at the moment than an Abyssal Reef, a King's Cove, or Neon Violet Square, which have not had quite as many games played on them in recent history. Obviously, overall, they had a lot of games played on them way back when, right? So MaxPax is in the bottom right-hand corner. In the top left-hand corner, our red Zerg player is SHIN, as we sit 1-1 in the best of 5. Drone will come around the bottom here from SHIN, so maybe we are going to see something a little sneaky coming in from him over the next few moments. Drone moves up to the high ground. It's going to get straight through over here. And there is the hatchery block going down. So he's going to block the natural expansion of his opponent. MaxPax will face some troubles with that. That's already going to be one issue that he has to look into as a second gateway coming online as well. I like this response. You get 2 gateways up against the hatchery block. It gives you 2 adepts and 2 zealots. It means you actually have a pretty good counter-attacking little squadron as well, which can really apply some pressure to the Zerg. Otherwise, they get left alone for a lot of this game. And it gives you the units in time to obviously shut down this hatchery in plenty of speed as well. They should not get out of hand. They should not get out of control. These things should all stay pretty well controlled with the way that this is heading, as a single probe just nibbles at hatch for the moment. As the Zealot out. With the second gateway and a second Zealot, you shouldn't have to build... Actually, you're not going to go second Zealot, you're going to go for the double Adept. I was going to say, I don't think you have to pull the probes. Your main goal here would be to get rid of this hatchery before the Queen spawns, because you do not want the creep tumor to go down from the Queen, because then you're going to have to deal with the creep tumor, and if you can't deny that creep tumor, that ends up in a lot of trouble for you. We actually are going to be seeing the hatchery just cancelled, so SHIN can get the money back. So that shows you the kind of commitment he's looking for. He's not even looking to keep the units back here just yet, which means he should be fairly prepared to deal with the adepts on the other side. Otherwise, maybe it would have been worth letting that finish, even if it costs you some money. Sometimes the money or the expense is okay if it keeps you safe in other regards, and that definitely could have been one of the cases here. So, possibility. As that probe continues to chase the drone around on the bottom, it's going to be seeing that chased about a little bit. A couple drones going down the top side as the adepts have arrived, and they're going to get 2 drones, a couple of lings as well. Not a bad start at all. 3 Zerglings, 2 drones. Yeah, like I said, I think we can be pretty happy with what those first adepts get done. Now 2 more adepts show up as well. And you really have a pretty scary little squad of units here to be dealt with as we threaten to move forward. It's going to send that shade straight by. Drone's going down. And ling speed coming up from SHIN. That should help him play defense. Continuing into the next stage of this. The few adepts will threaten that shade one more time. The lings are going to be right there following them. I think it's a little crazy to commit to a committed shading or anything just yet. I don't hate that just yet. Robes joined together. The steps going to come stepping forward as well. Going to go and pick their way through this hatchery for a couple of moments. So, try for something. The lings are going to run across. They're going to get a wrap around onto these adepts. So adepts will take some hits. And the few lings moving back the other direction. 9 drones, 4 Zerglings, all producing on through. We do have a couple of probes in the Oracle continuing up as well, so we bring that all into play. 8 more Zerglings as mentioned, coming online as well. Adepts step back over and we'll hit this hatchery for a couple of moments. So hatchery will take some damage. We're just going to be chilling there. A couple of adepts come stepping by. Negotiating straight up. Again, Oracle coming by, the Nexus coming up and online. Four drones going down as the Oracles actually strike the left-hand side, so they able to nab a few workers. Now the Adepts are going to threaten the shade in. And again, just step forward onto the third base as well. There's no units just yet from MaxPax. It's going to be annoying. We're actually going to lose a queen. Oracles are going to be like, oh, we want in on this action. We get rid of a second queen right here. So 2 queens go down. The Lings will catch. The Adepts will start to fall. The Adepts will continue to shade back up to the top as our Zerglings will continue to drop off here for the moment. And the Adepts are going to get surrounded once again. So Lings and drones will continue to get wrapped around on. And the Oracles back down to the south. We're going to head straight in toward these bases. Just going to get straight in over here. They'll pick up of energy recharge as well. So the Oracle's going to pick up some energy right away. Also, the rest of the Zerglings coming around this right-hand side and moving to hit the third base, which is only just now being established. They realize, hey, there's 2 Adepts there, but if they leave that kind of gap with extra Lings showing up, maybe we can punish that. So let's go for the threaten of it. You know, hit the Nexus, force the Adepts to move, and now they're not as well surrounded, so we do wrap around them, and both the Adepts will fall. MaxPax on this other side, I was going to say, it looks as though his units are engaging. He loses one of his Oracles, so he builds triple Oracle, but he's going to lose one very quickly. That feels like a real shame as the Ling's going to wrap around onto the Nexus once more. The Oracle's activating, Zergling's taking damage. Now the Zerglings get pushed back and away. Temple Archives, Robo Facility, charging +1, all continuing to come online. Let's pull back around the right again. Charging +1 coming up. Gates, Robo Facility, and the Temple Archives coming through for the moment. The Oracle and the Stalker will come stepping across, joining together, and it's even more Zerglings going to go running into this mineral line on the right-hand side. A few probes will fall. 2, 3, 4 workers going down immediately. Make it 5, looking for 6 and 7 and 8. And this is just a hell of a run by 9 workers. The Oracle could not clean those Lings up soon enough. I wonder if the probes should have just ran. I wonder if the probes, if they run over to the natural, would have taken less damage. I think so, almost definitely. They probably would have made the natural before 9 workers could have gone down in the first place. And Lings on the lair coming online, the hatchery building up in the front, so we get that going too. Zerglings do move out to the right side of the map as, yeah, now Roaches and now Roach Speed both continue to come up just for the moment here. Those Lings through, the probes are going to get wrapped around. And again, that +1 and that charge coming up. Going to give us a pretty good indicator of where we're at and what we can maybe try and do here as we continue on. Another centering the Zealot there to help against the Lings as well. And a couple of Oracles still flying about also. As the Zerglings move around over to the far right, collect together. And SHIN really dealing some serious damage early in this game. He's killed 11 probes to the 8 drones. He's lost to harassment. Just slows MaxPax down, especially as he reaches that 3-base economy where you're really going to start getting additional tech online and so on. And once again, just a threat on this right-hand side. Lings run through, the Zealots get caught, and you have to warp in more Zealots already. This takes away from the focus of an Archon push going on at the front. And especially if the whole idea of this is, hey, I'm going to go push with Archons and Charge Shots to support, well, suddenly you just used a warp in back at home. That ain't going to help you out. So those Lings are doing a great job of just weakening this push by getting involved early and basically forcing, like I say, that defense to have to come into play back on the other side of the map. A couple of Stasis Wards still landing in place. The Zealot Archon steps forward again. Roaches will continue to drop. Another nice Stasis Ward going to catch a few more units for the moment. Now we have the Archon drop that can continue to find some damages. To pick off an Overlord, the Queens will play the deflection though on the natural, so that will get turned around the other way. Celts still gathering up, Nexus still settling in here, Storming +2 attack coming through, Robo Facility and the Nexus coming online also. And Battery coming online, Robo Facility coming through, couple extra gates coming online as well. This Roach Ravager force going to split across and come from a couple different angles, perhaps. A few of those Zealots already running up the left-hand side. from the main base. The Mutas are going to show up off the back of that Spire now, so in they go as 11 probes drop pretty quickly. Stalker's going to get jumped onto as well. One Stalker going down. Those Mutas continue to play the escape out over to the far right-hand side. He's going to continue to obviously drag units around, which is going to give Shin good opportunity to move the rest of his units in position. I like MaxPax's ground army. For me, this is going to be a lot about how well he can control the defense, right? If he can keep units in position, if he can kind of keep the Mutas from doing too much, I think his ground army will be fine, although he's not quick enough to kind of save this base. So this hatchery, this Nexus location goes down. The Mutas are hurting and kind of back, not doing much at the moment, but Shin just fully focused on this ground attack. And why not? It's doing absolute wonders for you so far. No reason to kind of push this issue further when it is going as well as it currently is. The units continue to step forward. The Archons are coming through, chasing that Roach Ravager down. The Archons really do continue to play the chasing game here, and they get rid of a few more units as they go for the moment. Good list coming up. This one, Flyer attack continuing through. See the Overseer. Gonna take a few more shots of damage. The Phoenix will get there. Overseer will fall. On the bottom left-hand side, that's a lot of Mutalisks. My goodness, that is a lot of Mutalisks as they make their way over to the bottom right-hand corner. They're gonna get set up there pretty much immediately. In they go. MaxPax has nothing in position on this natural expansion, so that's immediately just damage being taken as 10, 11 probes go down. Phoenix gonna get jumped onto, and Oracle gets taken out as well. Nice kill on the pylon. Stalker's going to get depowered. A couple more Phoenix getting shot at. Probes continue to move about. Storm's coming in all across those Mutalisks. Muta's taking some big hits. And that hurts. That's a lot of Mutas getting hurt a lot. And with the Phoenix or two here and Stalker showing up, I mean, these Mutas are going to commit. Apparently, they just like the fight. They don't care to kind of protect themselves. Which I feel like is a pretty crazy decision, not protecting your Mutalisks here. Why the heck would you not want to try and keep those in a comfortable place? That I do not know, as our Stalkers, Archons, Immortals, and Zealots try and get there. 27 probes lost. MaxPax's economy hurting badly, but so much of the supply of Shin is still in these Mutalisks, and as long as he remains in these Mutalisks, he's not going to have as good of an army on the ground, so maybe MaxPax can always just hang on in there for a little bit longer. Maybe that is where we sit at this current point in time here. Game 3 of this best of 5, as the Mutas are going to fly through. Archons, Phoenix, and try and play defense. They get a lot of splash done initially, and to be fair, the Mutalisks can once again take some heavy hits. I dread to even think how many Mutas we've lost so far, as we'll lose a couple more, and we'll check when these Mutas get out. Seems like that's going to be about now. Shouldn't lose much more from here. We've already lost 29 Mutalisks. That's 6,000 resources of Mutas that have gone down. Don't get me wrong, the Mutas have been good, but that many Mutas going down for how long they've been on the map does make me feel like MaxPax... Like, if MaxPax recovered, I'd be like, yeah, well, Shin really threw a lot of Mutas away to make this all happen, so it makes sense. Right? I feel like there could be a justification there. Now, right now, the way the numbers look, it doesn't necessarily feel like that will happen. But if it did, I will point back to how quickly Shin lost so many of these Mutas and continue to build back into them. Because that is draining his resources in a game where he's up 30 workers and, you know, could potentially be taking a sixth base and just kind of completely outmining his opponent and building up a bank. He's not doing any of that because he's continuously having to remake the Mutas that he's losing because he's been extremely aggressive with them, and to a fault to a certain extent, I think, as well, is fair to say. I think there's multiple times he could have been a little bit safer with the Mutalisks as well, honestly. Pro's going down. Stargate about to finish. Phoenix is coming through. The bailing speed, +2 flyer attacks, +2 missiles. Roof spines all building up as well. So we've got those Mutalisks just trying to pick away at a few more probes. 3 workers going down so far. Now we move into the main, where we can not do too much else. What worries me for Shin is that he really doubled down on the Mutas again. Like, we're back to having, what, like 24 of them almost? That's 22 right there, I believe. He's got 23 on the map. He's lost 37 Mutas. The fact he rebuilt them so many times rather than having to transition out of Mutas ready. Imagine he had, spent all those replacement Mutas onto, Hydras, then we're ready to go into Lurkers straight away. What a spot that would have been for Shin to play from, but now instead he has to stick with the Mutas, which are not necessarily going to get much done immediately. Across the map, some Zealots actually run in. We saw the Baneling run by attempt, not go very far. The Zealots here are going to go for quite a few probe drones actually, so some damage done on that one. Lings do wrap around, the Zealots will fall. Not be an easy cleanup as again, +2 missiles and +2 flyer attacks. Both build up from Shin. His upgrades continue to roll on in. MaxPax seems halted on just the +2 attack for the moment. Just continue to fly through, storm after storm going down. There's a lot of Mutas getting stormed once again. We've definitely seen that one a couple of times, right? The storms against the Mutas getting hit by the Phoenix. Definitely been a bit of a factor as 16 probes end up falling. Another nice revelation, going to catch the tail end of those Mutalisks as they get pushed away. Mutas flying through once again. Zergna's still in the middle of the map. And a bit of a move. So they're going to step forward, going to try and get up this ramp. There's going to be a Stalker there already, just to be like, not allowed access here. And Phoenix still moving about as well. And we have ourselves the Greatest Spire coming up from Shin currently. So Greatest Spire on the way through. Lurkers on the way out. Hydras are producing. Again, Spine Crawler +3 missiles. The Seismic Spines. The Adaptive Talons. Like I said, the transition finally getting there from Shin. It took a long time, and to be fair, I think MaxPax has even recovered in a big way. Things get there, Overload goes down. In the right, gonna roll through here. Tempro is going down. Same time, we've got Mutas in the main base. I feel like this is a scraps to the Mutas, but this time Shin really is ready just to transition. So he's just gonna give these Mutas up for a few more probes, and he is rebuilding into Lurkers. So that's that going right there. The Lings continue to gather up, and MaxPax still settling in the middle, moving about here too. Gonna step forward a little further. Overseers, Hydras, Lurkers all coming online. A couple of drones coming through. Spinecrawler in production. Step up, those Lurkers are going to be there. They're going to turn the Archons of the Stalkers around immediately. Good damage done, pushing those units back a little further. Once again, going to be seeing the Phoenix lifting up all those Lurkers. So actually going to have a pretty good fight here for MaxPax. The Lurkers going to get unburrowed. Now he can jump on those, even going to lift them up a second time to guarantee they can't run away. Clean up all those Lurkers. What a massive catch from MaxPax right there, as he gets so much done. Now our units get ready to push up into those Lurkers again. On the right side is going to be a run by, but Storm and Zealot, I mean, there's a lot of units in position. Apparently some Bane snuck by and they got some probes. But the rest of it getting dealt with pretty well. I would say MaxPax is having a good few moments. See a good defense coming out from him. Good play from his opponent in some ways as well. Yeah, things settled down a little bit. For the moment, as again Lings continue up, Banes and a Hydra on the way out, +3 flyer attack, +3 missiles, continue to come through for the moment. As the Archon Stalker and Mortal Force will now step up the left-hand side. So a couple of those spines go down. Zerglin's going to get grabbed. Lurkers are going to burrow up as well. Down the right, a few of those Banes going to go straight in towards some probes, and again, the counterattacks from Shin, they might not be getting a lot done, but he is consistent with them, right? So he's constantly looking for the chance, and all you need is one chance to, to become an opportunity, and boom, all of a sudden, that's it. You do some more damage, and MaxPax is maybe in trouble once again. I do think MaxPax is doing a pretty good job of this so far. Back into one more time, just going to be seeing those Lurkers get burrowed up. And well, going to be eating some massive storms. The storms hit everything. The Hydras finally decide to lunge forward, and they will start to kind of pick up the ground army. Wow, those Lurkers are actually going to hold out, and MaxPax is going to leave this game. Wow, this fight kind of went wrong. You know, MaxPax right here is obviously, he's not maxed out, but 116 supply. This kind of looks like a typical, like, oh yes, I see the Lurkers, I'm going to wrap around them, and I'm going to have a great time attacking into this. So what goes wrong for him? We run in initially, and you can already see, obviously, first Lurker shots are good. The Phoenix will finally start to lift some of these Lurkers up. Now, arguably, if you send the Phoenix forward initially, you might get some Lurker lift sooner, but then the Hydras probably target some Phoenix down as well. The first few moments not great for MaxPax. At this point, we see this Storm, and I think this Storm, personally, was going to be absolutely huge from my point of view, but this army on the right side must absolutely melt, because by the time the Storm dissipates, Shin starts focused on the left, and the right side army just dies, which probably makes a lot of sense, because on the left we have, what, like 3 Immortals? One of the High Templar that probably had energy left on it just died. And we have maybe 1 Storm available here. So if you dive left, which is what the Hydras do, he dives left to fight against a few Immortals on their own. The Lurkers are left to deal with an army on the right, which is just Zealot Archon, which is not the best against Lurkers. And it all falls apart, so here we go. We dive left. And the Hydras, they move to the left, they go to focus those units. The Phoenix is still lifting a good amount of Lurkers up, but there's still 4 Lurkers, 5, 6 Lurkers on the ground, and these units on the right just get decimated by them as, yeah, the Hydras, like I say, with a few lingering reinforcements as well, start to wrap around the left side to actually play cleanup here, and by cleaning up those units on the left side, the army on the right disappears, and it's just Phoenix left over, and MaxPax has lost everything, does not have the money to rebuild, because Shin has been so consistent with harassing. He's not let MaxPax get to 5 bases and 70+ workers, and that's how Shin wins this game. This fight was actually kind of a very interesting fight, like I say, because it didn't look great for Shin initially. The setup looked like this was all in MaxPax's terms as well. He's like, I'm going to engage him from both sides. He is a little bit forced, because if this army steps up here, you're going to lose this base. So you're a little bit forced to attack in there, but the fact it came from 2 sides, even up 2 ramps, it kind of felt like it should have been alright. But you saw exactly why it went wrong, so GG's. And MaxPax in the bottom right-hand side of the map, our player that needs to make a comeback happen as he's down 1-2. This is going to be our blue Protoss. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have MaxPax. Bottom left, our red Zerg player is going to be Shin. He's up 2-1. Yeah, interesting game. So Shin obviously plays the Mutas, plays very aggressively with them, and honestly very carefree with them. I feel like he actually lost a lot more Mutas than he should have done. I think he should have had a lot more. I really felt like he should have been punished harder for the amount of Mutas that he lost, honestly. Like, you know, like, I'm genuinely surprised he got away with losing so many Mutalisks, if I'm honest. I am genuinely a little bit surprised as we get our map 4 coming up here on El Dorado. Yeah, just giggling about the amount of Mutas lost, because he really did lose so many. That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Hatch Gas and Pool all coming online. Gateway and the Probe coming up as well, so we get that all a building just for the moment. And we just watch as that Overlord moves over to the right-hand side. I guess we got a Probe we can follow. Let's follow the Probe. We followed the Overlord last game. Let's follow this Probe as it nibbles up on some mineral patches and just tries to be a little annoying. Take a moment to breathe. To make our way through. A lot of very fun StarCraft 2. We're moving about. Just going to be seeing it get around the back there. A few drones going to get in position. Try and mine off these minerals. And a couple Queens, a couple Zerglings, the Overlord, and the drone all continue to produce. The Adept, the Nexus, and Probes coming up as well. Stargate's still coming about. Probe on the way in. Our Nexus is about to finish. Warp Gate coming online from MaxPax as well, so we continue to get that online. And again, just going to be seeing the Adept making a little bit of a shade through, heading over to the far left-hand side for the moment. Going straight through there as our drones on our Ling speed coming up. We'll see what this Adept can get done as it makes its way over to the left-hand side of the map. Even just going to send a little shade up over here, try and see what we can get done. One Adept probably doesn't really want to commit in, especially if you have a second Adept coming. Why put yourself into some trouble or anything, right? Those drones continue to gather together. He's going to jump through. I'm just going to be having a little bit of damage done. One Adept is going to get pushed away. So yeah, the one Adept gets pushed back. Ling speed coming up as well. Get that going as well. Looking good for the moment. Adept moving about, Oracle coming through, the Warp Gate in production, Gateway coming online, the Oracle of MaxPax moving about a little bit as well. Just gonna see a couple of Queens and the Spore Crawler coming through. It's a lot of Lings also in production right there as the Assimilator's coming up from MaxPax. So far. Obviously we got Oracle number 2 popping, so we'll see how we do with that. If we go to 3 Oracles again, he tried 3 Oracles on Abyssal, lost one of them kind of early, right? So I'm just going to maybe do the 2 Oracle again. Honestly, I do think that 2 Oracles is just enough. This seems to have been a developed meta. I mean, you're still going to get a bit more pressure out with triple Oracle, but I don't think we have to go rushing into that or anything. Just going to see a little recharge on the Oracles, getting some energy back. Stargate and the Fleet Beacon still coming through as the Lings move around the top side. Our drones are going to be mining up on the gold base on this bottom as well. So this is actually a really cute position. Shin going to go to the bottom side, but not taking this base. Instead, taking the gold on the opposite angle. Queens have to be in position here to defend this, because obviously shots from the other side are going to become very frustrating if you don't sit in the correct place to deal with it. So makes a lot of sense. Again, the Lings and the Overlord gather up. The Oracles actually do zap for a few workers, but it costs one of the Oracles a lot of their HP. The healthy Oracle will try for the natural just to see if there is any opportunity there. I really do not think there should be. It's going to get turned around pretty quickly as it is forced to go the other way. Tempests, 2 of them on the way out. Additional probes and Adepts producing online as well. The Lair and the Overlords coming by. The Extractor and the Creep Team are coming up. Units still gathering in the middle of the map as the Adepts will go shading over to the far left-hand side of the map currently. Activating a Revelation, some of the Lings getting seen. Crypt Team is going to be going down, going to get those Adepts, just going to jump onto the Queen here. The Queen can take quite a few shots of damage. Again, Forge and Twilight Council continue to come online. Spire building in the back of the main base from Shin as well, so we get that Spire coming up. The Adepts will hit, that Queen taking a lot of damage. The other couple of Queens going to be right there with it. Both those Creep Teamers going down. The Oracle's still overhead. Tempest firing as the Overlord takes shots too. And the Queen's just going to come back across to try and hit that Tempest and push that the other direction as Tempest puts some serious work onto the Queens just for the moment. And again, you're going to turn that back the other way. Still gather up. I mean, Tempest, yeah, faster to get kind of going on those Tempests. Interesting map because, I mean, I guess, you know, you usually expect this on a map where there's more ledges and stuff. This is really a ledge-heavy map on the bottom side. And I think Shin was always going to play the bottom side of the map, so I wonder what the kind of concept was for MaxPax, what he was completely aiming for when deciding to go for these Tempests here. Definitely an interesting choice, I think. Fairly fair to say, as the Tempests come back over. The Lings are going to try and run it on the right side, not going to do too much immediately. Tempest's going to get back to work. 4 drones going down. Queen going to be there to push back the other direction as well. Queens will continue to get onto those Tempests as one Tempest gets very low. Other Tempest just about surviving. 2 more Tempests going to join back up together. Crypts will be producing +1 missiles and roach speed coming online. Again, the Tempest continue to push around the bottom with our Spore Crawler. gets chipped away at. Going to see a couple of queens going down as well. Seeing those Tempests still producing online, and Corruptor's actually going to show up, going to get a catch. We're going to get rid of 2 Tempests here because the queens can target the lower HP one down. The Corruptors get the other. 2 out of 4 Tempests fall, and that's a mistake from MaxPax, sticking around for a little bit too long and absolutely getting punished for it. So MaxPax getting caught there, and that is going to be a painful ending for him, losing out on those. Definitely not what he was looking for, as +1 missiles continues to come up. The Oracle moves back over as well. Once again, the Corruptors here just going to go caustic spray and try and put use on themselves, but I don't think we can justify going for the Nexus, especially as the Mothership spawns. It drops a Time Warp as well, so the Time Warp forces the Corruptors away. So as Corruptors get chased back, Oracle's to the top side, hanging around. It's another Stasis Ward coming down. Blink now coming up on the Twilight Council as well. Tempest, Mothership, all coming through. Another Stasis Ward in the front as we try and play a little bit more defense here. And +2 attack, +1 arrow bomber. Corruptors and Ravagers coming on the line. The Corruptor's going to come around the right side, going to get rid of an Oracle. Just going to nab that nice and easily. And we've got 2 Tempests producing at the moment. Baneling Nest about halfway done. Roach Ravager will try and step up a little bit as SHIN is actually going to go just pushing forwards. Feels like maybe he did enough with those previous snipes. It's a massive stasis though. The Time Warp goes down on the other side of it, and that's not an attackable position anymore for SHIN. He'll engage as a few of the units kind of push past the force fields. I think MaxPax getting a bit ahead of himself by doing that. So he actually uses the Corruptor's going to chase the Mothership, which will probably die. Now MaxPax is going to get surrounded a little bit. SHIN's about to get these units out of stasis as well. Corrosive Vial's already dropping into place. Push back the other direction. Roach taking some damage. Corruptors are looking to come through once again. The Lings will continue to seep forward. Do you see those Tempests? Going to be dropping. Corrosive Vial's still coming by as well. Another Tempest shot or 2. Continue to come in for the moment as the Corruptors will go and try and knock that Tempest down. Well, Mothership coming up and getting +2 attack upgrade, +1 fire attacks. And the Blink all coming online. The Tempest will be there, chase the Lings the other way. Looking reasonable as our Zerglings continue to retreat on down for now. Bane's morphing units into the center. Again, 14 Banelings, melee and the Baneling speed coming up as well. And these Stalkers come back over the right side here from MaxPax. Additional Bane's just going to come morphing straight through. As those Banes morph in, the Roach Ravager gathers up as well. And speed about to finish up. We are going to see the Corruptors in the main base. That's going to grab a Tempest that just spawned out. So, it's going to be a nice quick kill. And kind of firing back onto those Corruptors also as additional Banelings morph here from SHIN. We're going to go around the upper right-hand side. The Stasis Ward already catching some Lings. Here we actually go, charging forward. Roach Bane Ravager committing through. The Corruptor's going to go for the Mothership. Mothership taking some damage right off the bat here. Mothership will fall. Tempest is still going after the Corruptors. A couple Banes get knocked down as well. The Corruptors try and turn back into this. SHIN is really desperate to try and clean up the Tempest, diving in again. So many Stasis Wards caught up, but he's actually going to turn his attention to the top right base. So he's going to try and get rid of a location on the top right at least, knock one position down. Those Roaches are still getting cleaned up, so MaxPax is able to just really put in some serious work there. A couple of Lings going to get back onto the pylon, continue on the Nexus, and just put some, again, further work in for the moment as we knock our way through all of that. 16 Banelings, 5 Roaches, couple of Extractors, all building up right now. The Corruptors continue around the bottom of the map, and again will go hunting. They've been so successful in their dives into the main base, finding Tempest and other units ripe for the picking, so we'll continue with that possibility once again as we turn these Corruptors straight onto our Nexus here. Nexus will take some damage. So straight up pulls. As the Stalkers come across, they're just going to go after those Corruptors for a little bit. On the top side, we're going to be seeing the Fling Bane coming through, and those Banes are going to roll up the ramp. Just going to continue to chase those Stalkers down as well. And actually get rid of the 5th base then from MaxPax, so SHIN able to knock that away. But MaxPax is going to be holding on. I was going to say, I mean, his supplies maybe not the best, sitting at 167. He doesn't have a huge bank to work with or anything, but he's very much so staying alive in this, right? Which I think is a fairly important concept at this moment in time. Just staying alive is really not a bad thing as the Corruptors, Roaches, Banes, and Zerglings get ready to come and potentially wrap around this Stalker force. We do have Stasis Wards to help us out. What are they going to do? They're actually going to do a great job. Just these Lings getting Stasis creates a force field effect where now the other units would have to filter through the gaps of those Lings to be able to fight, and that's actually such a problem. So it really adds a lot defensively for MaxPax, who will now have a massive Stasis on the top side of the map about to hit as well. Kaboom! That is every single Baneling caught there. So now you have time to set up units to try and help deal with that. Nothing goes through early or quickly. And obviously you give a professional player actually time to deal with a problem. Typically they're going to do it very well, although, I don't know, he's making his way there now. He fought off the rest of the army. Now he's going to show up. You want to leave units here that are not going to get killed off by the Banelings. So that's going to be these Archons. SHIN will try and run them the other way. We have a few Stalkers to blink after. We don't kill them all, but we kill a good chunk of them right off the bat. And SHIN's attempted run-by to the top right corner will go unsuccessful here on El Dorado. Well, Lingroach, Ravager Bane still gathering in the center. We got our Corruptors and our Overseers moving through the bottom right side of the map now. They're going to move right across as that. And Caustic Spray, take a pick, I guess. Stargate and a Nexus. I think only one Corruptor's on the Nexus. That will not die, but the Stargate will go down. Always nice to shut down some of the production your opponent is likely to be relying on. As the Overseers and the Corruptors escape through the bottom. Just going to see the rest of the Roach Bane Ravager in the center morphing in. We have a Stasis Ward setting up in the middle of the map too, so getting that in position for now. As our Hive continues in, the Banelings continue up. Distractors are coming online. One armor, charge, +2 weapons, storm. All of that continuing through as our units come around the bottom side here. Just going to be seeing an attempt to move in. And that army is going to get chased a little bit. A Time Warp comes down. Going to slow down these units chasing you. But we commit, we get rid of the Mothership. The carriers are not going to last long. Those Corruptors are looking healthy. How is the ground army doing? Very well for MaxPax, not so hot for SHIN. However, the supply for MaxPax is not brilliant. And again, he's not super rich to just instantly rebuild or anything. SHIN already spending his money on 84 new Lings, 8 more Corruptors, +1 Carapace, and a +1 Flyer Attack upgrade. Both continue to come online right now. As a couple of carriers in that storm come through as well. Well, you just go back to the other side. Ultralisk Cavern coming up. Just going to be seeing the Lings going through the Watchtower. Some of the units continue to move across as we are going to be seeing SHIN spread out and ready to just attack in once again. As he is in the lead of this series, if he can find ways to break through MaxPax's defense on El Dorado, he'll be off to the semifinals. As some Banes crash through, Archons morphing in desperately. I mean, Corruptors are clearing out in the sky, so the Sky Army is gone once again. MaxPax cannot keep that alive at all, and he's on 117 supply, not looking great. Again, the ground army on MaxPax is the best part of this, but this time SHIN doesn't have to rebuild much in the sky. He can fully rebuild on the ground, and it's going to be Ultra Ling Roach. Do we have a Great Aspire? No. Maybe it would be nice to have a Great Aspire so we can potentially build some Broodlords just in case these Corruptors never really have much of a reason to be here at any point in the future. It is possible that we just don't need those anymore, so that can also be a factor. Our Nexus goes down on the front. Again, extra gates coming through. Cannon and the battery coming online. And still stepping around as the Lings are going to morph to Banelings on the top side. The Zergling going to come around the bottom, just going to go nibbling away as well. A couple more shots coming through for the moment. Main base, we are going to see Corruptors Caustic spraying down the Nexus, so the Nexus will fall in a moment or two. Oh, no! We leave it alive. A little bit of a mistake from Shin. He just should have committed. 1 or 2 more Corruptors going down to actually kill the Nexus. It wouldn't matter. He sees, by the way, a carrier. And so he says, okay, I actually need Corruptors again. So he goes back into Corruptor production. MaxPax reestablishing this base. We're 18 minutes deep. He needs a 5th base, right? Without a 5th base, MaxPax is just not able to sustain. I mean, he's already struggling to rebuild, mining less than his opponent. Shin, who we haven't really been back on his side of the map in a long time, but he mined out this gold. He's mining down here. He has since expanded up to the top side. Honestly, this game's going strongly enough in Shin's favor. I wouldn't mind him taking this gold base here. I think he'd get away with it. MaxPax has done nothing aggressively for such a long time. So I feel like that is kind of somewhat of a given, is just to take that base and you can run away with this in a big way. Carries continue to produce on through, and plus 3 hour weapons coming up. And Chrono Boost as well off that Cyber Cores. The Storm is blinked down, gonna get a couple of Lings also. Grab those nice and easily. There you go, Ling Bane Ultra Corruptor gonna come running through. The Bane's gonna get caught in a big way. While those Banes getting hit, Corruptor's gonna get jumped on as the carriers are going to get chased down a little. The Ultra's going to turn their attention to the cannon, turn their attention to some of these probes, perhaps. And some of the Corruptors trying to see if they can get anything extra done as the Ling Ultra finishes off this Nexus. That will go down, and Shin is able to break through that position. The supplies even out, though, and Shin, he's mining more, but he doesn't have a bank build up already. And so maybe, just maybe, he's thrown enough away that MaxPax is once more going to have an attempt in this series. Obviously, MaxPax loses this game, and this series is done. MaxPax would be knocked out with the loss on this map right now, so he needs to try and figure that out. A couple more Ultras, the few Zerglings, all coming online still. Plus 3 hour weapons, gonna really again continue to power up the carriers in the skies. Get those ready to continue too, as the Interceptors spawn up. Ling Ultra around the bottom, just checking there's no Nexus there, and there is not, so you're still keeping the MaxPax to the 4 bases. This 5th still struggling to get back online. Lings, 6 Banelings, the Ultralisks all building through the Corruptor Ultra, middle of the map, trying to figure out what its goal is right now as well. So many Corruptors, but he's not wrong because there are carriers up in the skies, so you kind of need those Corruptors as well. You're going to see some Stormers to kind of soften up this army as we move through. The Mothership will not last long. The Corruptors spread themselves to minimize splash from the Archons that are now chasing them down. There's a lot of priority on those Corruptors, and they do die. MaxPax is able to get rid of them as his Archons do a good job. The Ultra is not really going to be able to stand up for themselves here either, so they're going to get pushed the other direction. There's another scenario where I feel like MaxPax does okay, but the supply is still a struggle for him just because losing anything is something he really struggles to rebuild into. Whereas Shin just has more income, so even if the bank isn't there, he's got money coming in that he can then rebuild with, and that's making the difference as we say remax, but it really is just a rebuild. Neither player is rich enough to remax, as MaxPax actually says, you know what? I can't just take damage like this forever, so he moves forward, and I wonder if this is because he wipes the Corruptors and he feels like he has enough carriers that he could maybe just have a good enough impact in the skies to basically lock down this game with a good push. Problem is, he kind of needs the carriers to play defense, otherwise you're going to lose these bases. Can you afford that? Maybe you can, but I don't think you win a base trade in terms of speed, so yeah, it becomes kind of awkward for me once more. He decides he's just going to send it, and I don't disagree. Right now, he basically wants to catch any carrier, any Corruptor possible with these carriers. He needs to knock down anti-air. He needs to stop Shin from dealing with these carriers because Shin clearly has power enough on the ground to do as he wishes. MaxPax's eggs are all in the Sky Toss basket at the moment. And the Sky Toss gave MaxPax another Christmas present of, you know, a game 5, because that's what MaxPax is hoping for right now. Hoping to force this game 5. He's losing the bases, like I say. A base trade scenario is a very slow-going process for these slow carriers that interceptors. They do damage, but they don't always do damage super quickly. The Ultras are chewing through bases and productions and structures. The production will be on the line next on the natural. And Shin is also able to, during this, build like Lings and stuff, which obviously do a lot. We actually have the Corruptors here going to show up to kill off one of the carriers. Well, Shin's actually adding more and more Corruptors on. I think he's going to get to a point where he just gets enough Corruptors up that it's going to be enough to fight this. Because it's just taking MaxPax so long to stop anything happening. I mean, he's not even going to stop the production from coming in through, right? So, as long as that's the case, I think MaxPax is going to be in trouble. Because, like I said, all Shin has to do is get enough Corruptors up all at once, dive those carriers. That's all he has to stop. The Ling Ultra is still winning across the map. It's mostly Ultras, but a few Lings mixed in there. Obviously, MaxPax isn't rich enough to go and justify building units back at home defensively, so those units really will not be stopped by anything at all. But again, those carriers are just taking so long, and Shin has built up to, so far, 12 Corruptors. Against the 5 carriers, we're on the verge of being able to take that fight. The carriers actually recall back home right here. So Shin now knows where they are at, loses one Ultralisk. You just recalled home to a 2-base situation where you are not set up on any real mining. Shin still is mining a little bit on the bottom side. Don't get me wrong, you knocked down some of the healthier bases of Shin, but by going back home, you give him the freedom of the map to get set up. So if I'm MaxPax here, I think we've got to go again. Honestly, he's done extremely well because Shin... Oh, he's going to type GG. He's going to say he's done extremely well because you can see Shin's not in a great spot. 20 drones, very low money in the bank. Income is going to be minimal. I think MaxPax is correct. 14 Corruptors will beat 5 carriers, especially when the carriers have 0 ground support. Damn. Man, what a great game. Actually, a very cool game. And congrats, Shin knocks out MaxPax as well. Obviously, the GG comes in and I'm still kind of analyzing the situation. I kind of wanted to see the Corruptors just kill the carriers just for a little bit of excitement. Man, what a series by Shin. 3